Kitty cat food. The cat food lovers love to eat. Great on a cracker, great in a stew, and cats like it too. Yes, they do. Meow. I'm writing my libretto. Modern times. Lucky those with the lucky dime. I want to spin on the point of a pin and not get poked. I want to be Johnny Mercer. Light on my feet, never miss a beat. I told the Dalai Lama, I am stumbling backwards into the radiance. The first thing I'd heard that morning when I turned on the financial news was to not put your eggs in one basket. I sang, "Don't put your eggs all in one basket. You'll end up scrambled. You'll end up broke. I should have listened, but I didn't." Then something about a girl in a bonnet with polka dots on it and how she'd done me wrong. It was April, the cruelest month. But I wasn't thinking about T.S. Eliot. I was thinking about Fred Astaire. What I wanted in life was to be able to dance on the ceiling. When I spoke to the Dalai Lama, I told him I now often stand on my head because what I thought was most important often turned out to be least important. And I said, I used to pull my words out of a hat randomly, but I've evolved beyond that. I admitted that I've never understood why I do what I do, and the sad truth, no one cares but me, and I have doubts. Art is call and response over time and space. In my studio, I wait, poised to pounce. In my work, I want more simplicity, and at the same time, I want to be more elaborate and grandiose. That is to say, a simple idea, easily understood, but not too easily, with a positive vibe and scaled up big. I told the Dalai Lama, I'm a wild goose, kite high in crazy blue. Those who chase me, what visions they pursue. But they won't catch me. I'm too quick. What do I want in a poem? The movement of the bird's flight, the ease of a bird's song, bittersweet music I've never heard, complex emotion I can't name, pictures that etch an image at a snap. I'm a deluded fool. Who else would wallow in all the useless beauty? I show up for the wonder. I'll always show up. What else is there? My mantra, make it holy, make it beautiful, laugh. New Year's Day. Perhaps this is the year aliens abduct me. Perhaps it already happened. That would explain a lot. Too late for a comeback, too late to die young. This is not the sandwich I expected to bite into. My own irrelevance, a bitter pill. Behold, I am every sensation. Trust, love, joy, humor, surprise, wonder, shyness, courage, guilt, calm, anger, contempt, sadness, frustration, fear, anticipation, disgust, sympathy, beauty. There are endless varieties and shades of emotion. Behold the lowly prophet, the lowliest prophet in the land. I was never a joke teller. I never went for the easy laugh. On the other hand, I was never good with doom and gloom, not my forte. I didn't have the gravity of a Jeremiah or an Ezekiel, an Isaiah or a Daniel. I couldn't keep a straight face nor pull off the piety thing like them. I heard the word like them, but to say with any certainty the word came from on high, maybe and maybe not. Like my peers, I am a seer. I have visions, decipher messages in the clouds, make connections between disparate concurrences. To be sure, signs are only clear after the fact. Still, when 5 whirlwinds whirl over the water and 5 lightning bolts light up the land, and it's only Tuesday, what's coming doesn't take a seer to foretell. Some critics chided that kinky meant narrow audience, and while I didn't think of myself that way, I do have a soft spot for the lurid, tawdry, and the garish, and feel at home in sordid music halls. Of the 12 lesser prophets immortalized in the Old Testament, my agent would say I was the unlucky 13th, left on the cutting room floor, but no use crying over canonical short-sightedness. Sometimes a prophet like an artist can be too far ahead of his time. I never questioned my career choices, despite the regret that my youthful promise didn't pan out. Who doesn't want to be a star? But I wasn't a failure alone. There was a whole troop of us who toured the hinterland, wandering in the wilderness. In the valley of dry bones, 5 sticks came together and made a hand. Hark the sound of one hand clapping. Know it well. I was mocked as a one-hit wonder, and that hit was long ago. My signature song, rock 'em, sock 'em, wow 'em, pow 'em, roll 'em in the aisles. Knock 'em off their pins, mop 'em off the floor, blow 'em out the door. I faithfully delivered the messages from on high, but God had been funny lately. Repent, or I'll raise the rent. When the Spirit spoke, I was amazed what came out of my mouth. A catchy ditty, perhaps. Everyone gathered as much as they needed, and when the sun went down, we ate. Manna from heaven, each to their need. Saith the Lord, better eat fast, manna won't last. Yesterday's manna, no bueno today. Manna mañana, no bueno, they say. Was God absurd, or was I? Was mine a voice not to be trusted? Or was mine a voice of rare clarity? I was an oddity, the joker in the deck. No glory in my story, never friendly with Frank, and yet we seem close. In a recurring dream, I face my accusers. They're waiting for me to confess. I don't know the crime. I have to discover my own crime. I say, I'm nothing, and yet I'm all I think about. I sing, I did it my way. All around me is mischief. Some sinister game is going on. Sometimes 2 and 2 is 4. Sometimes 2 and 2 make 22. Many did it just for the money. I never saw much money. For me, it was the thrill of the footlights. The city of palm trees, the oldest town on earth. Hear that trumpet blow, oh, hear that trumpet blow. Man, oh man, hear that mighty trumpet blow. Boom, bang, boom, that last crazy night in Jericho. I was on the lowdown in a low den known to actors and spies, where I first saw Rahab the harlot. Some reviled her and called her names, but she was one cool customer. If she ever had a moment of indecision, she gave no sign. She picked her spies wisely. She did what she did, and what she did could not be undone. The past, the future, it's all one to me. Such is the gift of the dramatist. I saw the whole play in 3 acts. When the guards raided our lodging, my fellow actors, dancers, clowns, singers, and the band all scurried out the back, assuming the law had come for us. We'd been known to skip out on our tab when the box office had been slow, and things had been slow in Jericho. But I didn't budge. I needed to write. It had been a long, dry spell, but my full power returned. I felt the importance of what I was doing, knew the troop depended on me. I could hear the opening number, a sweet Johnny melody, but I couldn't make out the words, as if the words were being sung in a dead language. I visualized Rahab with her 2 lovers in a private chamber earlier that night, dancing for them naked beneath a sheer red cloth. I could see Rahab and her spies ascending the stairs to the roof, clutching a coil of rope. Looking forward, I could picture her lowering her lovers out a window to safety. But now, back on the stairs, she needed me. The guards were only a few steps behind. I'd be no good in a fight. I'm a coward through and through, but on stage, I was a swashbuckler. The guards might have ignored me as they passed had I not menacingly waved my hook arm at them. It was only a stage prop, but they were mesmerized. "Behold," I said, "like a good song, there's always a hook." They laughed and stood me a drink, and by the time I ducked out, clutching my manuscript, our tour bus was pulling out. I was truly fucked, but in my heart of hearts, I knew I'd written a winner. I pictured opening night, Rahab killed and riot written. God had reserved the entire front row, but all eyes were on Pops when he took the stage. Sang Pops, "Put a $20 gold piece on my watch chain so the boys know I went in style." And when he sang, "Give me a kiss to build a dream on," all the women tossed hankies at his feet. 7 trumpets sounded one at a time, and then 3 times the band circled shouting, "Boom, bang, boom." And Pops played a cascade of notes as Queen Ella took the stage. The First Lady of Jazz sang in a sultry voice. Rahab had 2 lovers. She loved them both. She danced before them and made them swear an oath. Love me always. Love me through thick and thin. Love me forever, again and again. Love me in a fever. Love me in a dream. Love me hot and fast. Love me long and slow. And don't forget our love when that mighty trumpet blows. Ba-da-da-bop-bop. Oh, hear that trumpet blow. Oh, hear that trumpet blow. Man, oh man, hear that trumpet blow. Boom, bang, boom, and the walls tumble down. And all the wild Rahab danced. Wild, wild, wild. That last crazy night in Jericho. The party over, the border closed. Men, women, young and old, cattle, sheep, and donkeys, they slaughtered them all. Only one meager hovel was spared where a red rope hangs out a window. Man, what a show. That was then, and this is now. And as one generation tells another after the fall, it's a cheesy world. It's a broken system. Not so clever, not so fair, buyer beware. Dark moon, biting wind, down, up, down. It was a bitter spring, and all was dodgy and dodge. Dodge had gone to the dogs, so careful where you step. It was the end times, and it's always the end times somewhere, but these times seem bleaker than most. What can one say in the face of a mass grave? Time to make tracks. What will the next town bring? The world was having a bad dream and couldn't wake up. Still, the mystery is deep and my awe is genuine. Where does a song come from? What is the origin of a melody? How does movement become a dance? Whatever the answer, art demands vitality. I pilfer from everywhere. Out of the junk pile, sculpture is made. Want a new idea? Read an old book. I reached the end of an idea, knowing to go further would be redundant. Then, miraculously, the clouds part and I glimpse the way forward, albeit without words for understanding, but with the trust that what finds you is just what you need to find. However, illusion has its own reality, but at what peril do I leave the world of shared meaning? It's not always easy to pull yourself out of a rut. I gave my heart for wisdom, but there was much madness and folly. I have my secrets, but I was no secret to my motley cohorts, and they were no secret to me. Mary was scary, and Harry was wary, and Larry was leery, and Sue gave us flu. Stubby was stubby, Fatty was fat, Zach was a hack. Jack seemed a good egg until Jack became a rotten egg, and now, if anyone mentions him at all, they call him Stinky. Like I said, the future at best was sketchy. And how do you manifest the necessary razzle-dazzle after the town has been leveled? There was a new mob, the war profiteers, the swindlers, the embezzlers, the cheats, and the frauds. They were a loathsome bunch, but they were the only ones left who could afford the price of a ticket. They demanded to be entertained, so wham 'em, wham 'em, make 'em beg for more. It's what you gotta do, it's them or you. Such was the life of a thespian. We looked at each other. What was there to say? Dawn said it all with a yawn. Even this nightmare got dull. Bring on the dancing poodles. Outside, another bomb exploded. Creepy, 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 muttered Creepy, the producer's agent and stage manager, sometimes handed over our paltry pay. Creepy wasn't so creepy, at least I didn't think so. Brash, sure, not always delicate, but good enough at heart. Still, what a moniker to lug around. Creepy. Creepy would sing, bully, bully, bully. We're bully on bullies. A great time to be a bully. A great time to take a strong stand against the weak. Pinky, Stinky, Jane, and Crazy June, a spiteful loon connected to a murderous goon with an angel's voice, and I always cried when she sang. Bitter spring, and now summer. Nothing I can do, mother. I shall go mad for the love of that boy. Nobody wants to be the lowest prophet, but here I sit, and home didn't feel like home anymore. Home was not homey. No one looking up, no one looking out, no one talking much. Hard to make a buck, no gas in the truck, everyone waiting for luck. Some waiting a long time. Bang, bang, 10 more dead at the high school. We'd been to the moon and Mars, seemed far to go in a jar, seemed we'd run out of steam. I was taught the only way to deal with bullies is to confront them. I punched a bully in the nose, he hit me with a brick. Should I have snuck up behind the bully and whacked him with a bat? There are no simple answers in life, but one thing I have observed is that no bully thinks they're a bully. No mouse thinks they're a rat. And no rat thinks they're the worst rat in the shed. Everyone thinks they're the heroes, whistling their own theme songs. What the universe is sending is dark, dark, dark. But my job is to confront these visions head on. Art is long, life is short, and we're prisoners of our delusions. In my dreams, the critics marvel, hailing my next show. A spectacle, a sight, a vision, a miracle, a marvel, a pageant, an extravaganza. I live in hope. It is never too late for a hit.